everybody. In this video, you're going to be learning about the for loop in C#. The agenda of my video will be when do we use the for loop, and then we're going to be understanding about the for loop. So let's get straight into it. Right now, I'm going to create a console application in Visual Studio. Here, I've fired up Visual Studio and I've created a console application called for loop in C#. Okay, so first let's understand about when do we use the for loop. So basically we use the for loop when we know exactly the number of times that we want to iterate through a set of code. You don't use it like the while loop where the C# or the compiler iterates that set of code inside of the while loop until the specified condition is reached, right? You don't specify the number of times you want to repeat it. But in the for loop, it's not like that. You specify the exact number of times that you want to iterate through the set of code. Now, let's understand about how we can use the for loop. So, in order to use the for loop, you need to put in the for keyword. So, for and then inside of brackets, you have to type in the statement. So, statement 1, just assume that this is statement 1, the declaration of the variable. I will explain that also. So, int I, let's say 0, and then you have to add in a semicolon. That's a part of the syntax of a for loop. Okay, after that, specify the condition. So let's say I less than or equal to 10, semicolon, and then the last statement, that is statement 3, that is where you increment the value of the variable that is used in the for loop. So I plus plus. So what this means is that we're incrementing I by 1. So instead of saying I equals I plus 1 or I plus equals 1, you can just use I plus plus. Okay, and then the body of this method, the for loop, console.write line I. So we're writing the value of I onto the console. And let's run the program right now. Okay, I'm waiting for it. Okay, so it prints out the numbers from 0 to 10. So that's the use of a for loop, right? Now let me explain this code that we have written over here. So first we use the for keyword to specify that we're going to be using the for loop. After that, this is statement 1, okay? This declaration of the variable. That is statement 1. So we're declaring an integer variable, I in our case, and assigning that the value of 0. So that is the end of statement 1, and we specify that with a semicolon. After that, the condition. So the code inside of this for loop will only be executed if this condition is true. If it is not true, then it breaks out of the loop. Okay? Now the last statement. The incrementation of the variable that is used in the for loop, like I've already said. So here we're incrementing the value of I by 1. So what happens here is that first C# goes over here to the declaration of the variable or statement 1. After that, it checks the condition. If this condition is true, it executes the code that is inside of the for loop. Okay? Only after that, it goes to the incrementation part. After that, it goes back over here, and if this condition is true, again it executes this, and so on. Okay, let me prove that to you by using a debugger over here. I'll just put a debug point over there and run the program actually by clicking the start button over here. Okay, so the program runs under the window over here. So first, as you can see, because of the debugger, it's getting me into the code. Here, it goes to statement 1 of the for loop. So statement 1, when I mouse over, so this is statement 1 where we declare a variable, right? And then if I press F11, like that, then it goes to statement 2, that is the condition, okay? And over here, as you can see when I mouse over here, you can see that the value of I is 0. Okay, and if I go over here, you can see here that the condition that we have specified over there, that is I less than or equal to 10. And as you can see, C# says that this is true. Okay, so after that, I'll press F11 again. It gets into the body of the for loop, like I've already said, and F11 again, so it executes this console.writeLine method. Okay, and after that, it comes to this last statement. Okay, statement 3. That is the increment or decrement. Okay, so over here, as you can see, when I click on F11 again, it comes to the condition, right? And if this condition is true, again it'll execute the code, and it does not go to the first statement over here, statement 1. That is because in the for loop, the declaration of the variable is only checked once, and these two conditions are executed until, these two statements, are executed until this condition is true. Okay, now I'm just going to stop debugging over here by clicking on that stop button, and I'm just going to run the program to show you what will be the output, and it's the same output, right? 0 to 10. Now I'll close that. So now let's again recap about why do we use the for loop. I'll just remove this debug point over here. So basically, like I've already explained in the starting of this video, we use the for loop when we know exactly how many times we want to iterate the set of code or execute the set of code that is inside of the for loop. Now, like the while loop, where you specify a condition. Yeah, even in the for loop you do, but the code inside of that does not specify how many times you want to iterate that. Okay, and the while loop iterates that code that is inside of it until that condition is reached or it's false. But the for loop does not work like that. You specify how many times you want to iterate or execute the set of code that is inside of the for loop. Now I hope you have understood about the for loop in C#. So that's it for this video, guys. If you love this video, don't forget to like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more. Goodbye till the next video.